Welcome to JED's Journal Podcast from the JED TV studios on the campus of Purdue Northwest in Hammond, Indiana. Now here's your host, Jim Deedlow.
I apologize for that musical interlude, and you're going to have to get used to it because in the retooling of our systems, we are now going to YouTube for this, and nobody watches it there yet, but they might at some point. And slowly...
Anybody that wants to watch, go to WJLB 1230 for YouTube. Yeah, just search that up on YouTube, and you'll see everything live and reposted right away.
Yeah, and we will... Well, I mean, I guess we could just tell people we are slowly making JED TV a sports network, and the app and all that.
I'll get you a new graphic today, so that way...
Yeah, it says JED TV. It's not supposed to.
I'll fix all those graphics today.
And this is not my idea. We got a lawyer who's just a little bit too serious about the law.
It's like he's doing his job.
Why would
How dare he?
Anybody who gets in the way of me screwing around openly is just kind of like whatever.
I did get a thing from one of our viewers, and this is from our viewer. The notification's right here, so you can see it's not my words. It says if he's gonna do a real radio show, that means he can't eat while he's talking.
Here's where that person's wrong, and
you own the station.
Yeah, I mean, I got to have some license. I pretty much let people roll all over me all day long. I got to have something, and I'm hungry. I went swimming this morning, and you'd be surprised, Adrianna, how many people are up.
Oh, yeah, I know.
And working out, I get there, I go, well, I was a little late today. I usually get there around 4:35, 4:40. Well, I got there about 4:50, and there's already people on the machines. I think it opens at 4:40 or 4:30.
4:45 usually.
Yeah. So I usually get there right when it opens. They open a little early. Eddie Lomelli, the former fireman in Hammond, he runs the area where I work out. And there's already people talking to him. Hey, what do I do about this? How does this machine work?
Yeah.
And then I go into the pool. All right, so I'm about 5 or 10 minutes behind my rhythm. And I get in there to the pool at exactly 5:17. Well, I normally get into the pool at 5:10 or 5:12. I swim for like 10 or 12 minutes. And there's people waiting for a lane. Who are these people? I have to get up because I have a radio show, and then I'm on a film shoot all day till like 7 o'clock tonight. So I had to get up to get my workout in. I think a lot of it's just retired people who are so used to waking up, they just can't got all this energy. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I stopped going to the gym that early. I used to do it in high school to go that early in the morning because...
What's wrong with you?
Well, that you get your workout in, you're awake, and then, all right, go home, shower, change, go to class. I used to do that in high school, and it wasn't as bad when the YMCA was over here in Hammond, not the new one that they built, but now since the new one that they built, everybody wants to go, no matter if they are from the area. Some people all the way from Crown Point and Valparaiso will come to the one over here because it's state of the art.
There's a lot of people from Chicago.
Yeah,
there's a lot of people. Why wouldn't you? I'm like, yeah, I'm with you. And every once in a while you start talking to people or you see their T-shirts. I'm like, oh, they got a Crown Point High School shirt. Well, were you from Crown Point? Yeah, I just like this. Why better? Mm-hmm. So you drive 35 minutes to work out, and
at
a lot of
4:30 in the morning.
Well, in the middle of the day, it's kind of like the people don't realize that there are so many people working out at these Ys. Mm-hmm. The White family has made a big difference in the region. I mean, they're building new ones. Rumor has it they're going to build one in South Holland, which is St. John. I mean, there's all sorts of Ys that are kind of taking things over. So I went on Saturday afternoon about 1 o'clock. I go, it's kind of...
Oh, no.
I was like, who works out on a Saturday afternoon in the middle of summer? It was packed.
This one is always going to be packed.
At least
for another year.
I'm like, don't you people have picnics to go to?
Usually, people's rest days will either be that Saturday or that Sunday. But since this one is so big and everybody's going to flood to that one, that's kind of like before this one was built, that's how the YMCA in Cherville was. Everybody was at that one because it was the biggest one that was kind of closest to us besides the one in Crown Point. So now everybody kind of floods over to this one. They still flood over to Cherville one as well, but it's great because you wouldn't see this many people at a YMCA, at a gym, all at the same time. It's great because, as you said, they've made a real difference. A lot of people are starting to work out now, starting to gain a regimen, and that's great, except for the ones who have been going for so many years and they can't get a workout in.
Well, I mean, I can, and there's I do the old people workout where you have this little thing, you wear this
smartwatch and they tell you like all your stats.
Yeah, you touch the machine and then it puts it all the seats everything's where it needs to be, and you just do it and you leave. Lomelli set it up for me, and it just made it so easy. Who wants to go to a gym? Like, what do I do next? What do I lift? This and that. No, here it is. Go on this like 12 station thing. It takes about a half hour, and then go swim and then you're done. Mm-hmm. And, at the Cherville one, if people don't realize, right down the way here, one of my cousin's husband was the project manager. He works for Ton and Blank. And now he's done with the Hammond one. Brian Delitz, he played basketball over here at Maryville and sports and that kind of thing. He married my cousin, Cindy. And I saw him at my nephew's graduation on Saturday, and he was just telling me all of this amazing amount of expansion that is on the board. Like, you go to that Cherville one, I don't really like going into that big open area where they have all the weights.
Really?
I don't think it's lit very well. It's not warm. It doesn't feel inviting. And this one in Hammond, you go up on that top level and it's like everything's new, everything's lit well, all the machines work. It's a perfect place to work out. It's spaced well. It really is a perfect place, except when there's too many people. But you go to Cherville and it's not as nice. And I told him about that, and he goes, God, that's odd that you're mentioning that, because I think, from what I understand, and not from my cousin's husband, but from another guy was telling me that they're going to maybe take over Jack's, or
that's what they were rumored to
rumors.
Do. Yeah.
And they're going to move all of that, I guess, that workout equipment into the Jack's. And then I forget what they're going to do with that big open area. I don't know if it's paddleball or tennis or something, but
probably pickleball.
And so they're addressing that. And I think that old Omni Y, it needed to be just completely made like this one. I mean, this has set the standard.
Quite the opposite, really.
What?
That a few people don't like the new layout of the Y that's over here.
Why?
Because it's all upstairs, and if you want to do, say, all the leg machines are over here, well, then you have to cross the track, go into a different room, and then all the arm machines are over here. Where opposed to the Y in Cherville, everything's very open. So yeah, you have your different sections, but you're not really having to cross different areas to be able to get in. There's like clear walkways that you can go through. I've heard quite the opposite, and they like that big, like just everything out there, right there in the open, because it's easier to see what machines are open, what machines aren't. Whereas this one, yeah, it's laid out and everything's like right there by each other, but it's kind of harder to see if the Smith machine is open over here and you're doing leg presses over here. It's kind of harder to see.
I guess I never really experienced that, but I do see a lot of people going back and forth on the track. And then this one's even better because right next door is the Sportsplex.
Yes,
so some of the people will go upstairs and walk around the Sportsplex, which is probably the best indoor walk in the region, on top of the Sportsplex. And then McDermott, I don't know where he got the money, he built another expansion to the Sportsplex. It's about halfway down.
I thought because I saw 1 year, I think this might have been last year or year before, where they had a big like sand area, and I could have sworn they had volleyball in that sub, and it was like sand volleyball. And I did see one of the college-bound students, they were kind of raking the sand. And I was like, I'm very happy for my service hours.
I mean, I don't even know where all that money's coming from, but it, to me, is a beautiful place. I'll take my granddaughter, grandson in the middle of winter when I want to get my steps on this Fitbit and walk around up top at the Sportsplex. And there, if you go at the right time, maybe there's like 20 or 30 people on the whole. I think it's almost like it's a massive track. It's very long. I don't know I think it's 4 laps for a mile, right? Or
that's for a regular track. If it's built like a regular track, yes, 4 laps.
Yeah,
for a mile.
it's really long, and it's a beautiful thing to go over in that whole area. Now, of course, what eventually is going to happen is that the WJOB Tower is kitty corner to all of this, and then Huhtamaki across the street just spent tens of millions of dollars redoing their whole factory and building basically a whole new one. What's going to happen is that the price of land is going to go up, and all it's going to do is increase our property taxes over there. But that's a casualty of making things better. Hey, let's take a look at traffic. 294 around the city looks pretty good. 80 going east and west looks good. Bishop Ford, Dan Ryan, Skyway Toll Road, Borman, I-65, they're all moving along pretty well. In terms of the weather,
So currently, right now, at the Strack Van Til Studios, it is 68 degrees. Today we are seeing highs of 87 and lows of 68, with some cloud and humidity moving into the nighttime. On Wednesday, we are seeing highs of 93 degrees and lows of 74 degrees, humid with times of cloud, and there is a heat advisory between the hours of 1 o'clock and 7 o'clock. So be sure to keep an eye out for that, as the UV rays will be very high, and it will actually feel like 104 degrees. So be cautious of that. Be sure to stay hydrated and get that sunscreen on. And then on Thursday, we are seeing highs of 95 degrees and lows of 74 degrees. Sunny to partly cloudy, hot and humid. Again, stay hydrated when it's hot outside with that heat that is coming in.
And just to follow up on a phone call I had with Mad Max, several reports by the Office of Management and Budget and the Congressional Budget Office indicate losses in healthcare insurance coverage for millions of people under the recently enacted legislation. They focus on Medicaid and also on Medicare beneficiaries, particularly those with eligibility for both Medicare and Medicaid. So that's a lot of people listening, and that's just the CBO and the OMB. And of course, Mad Mac will attack them as, not being disreputable sources, I guess. But that's what's happening. Anyways, let's take some phone calls. And sorry that we were just blabbing, but
we're not sponsored by the YMCA. But YMCA, if you want sponsors for that amazing telltale of your great facilities.
Well, I mean, part of it is, I'll tell you exactly what I think they should be doing, but the YMCA, the White family, and Dean White and Bruce White, who just passed. Is it Bruce White that passed? Can you look that up? I forget who recently died. Somebody there. They have done an amazing thing in changing the quality of life for a lot of people in the region. It's kind of like quietly the Little Calumet Commission has changed the quality of life for a lot of people with all these trails and stuff like that. Anyways,
I think you're correct, yes.
Yeah, I forget who died, but anyways, it is the White Foundation. It's doing all that stuff, and I'm starting to be a believer. Anyways, 219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air.
Wow. By the way, the food and beverage tax is paying for the, what do they call that, volleyball?
Pickleball?
So,
I don't think so, MX. I don't know that to be the case, but it sounds good.
It is. Yes, it is. It's paying for the volleyball court. It's paying for that Wolf Lake Pavilion and the Gateway Station.
Hey, I don't know if that's the case or not, but hey, I want you to tell people what the picture you just sent me was of.
A wolf.
That's what I thought. I didn't think that was a coyote. That's a wolf, right?
I was in that cabin about Friday night, and behind the cabin I don't have Tacticam cameras, and I heard a boom, bang, boom, and I could hear the footprints. That was a bear. But let's go on to another subject that you don't know about, because when you tell me I don't know things that are going on in Hammond, like a food and beverage tax and a wheel tax, out of kindness of Biden's heart. Now listen, I listened for you 29 minutes to get on this phone line. Out of the kindness of Biden giving extra money to Social Security, it bumped a lot of people off of Medicaid. I told you before, I sat in the Medicaid office with my buddy for 3 hours. And when you make over $1,250, when you're bumped over $1,250 with the raise in your Social Security, you're bumped off of Medicaid. Now, why let a good crisis go to waste? Ronnie Randolph, Earl Harris, and Mervyn should be going to Braun and saying, since they got a raise in the Social Security, the Medicaid people, you should raise the $1,250 up to whatever probably $1,300. So Madlock's wrong, you're wrong, and all three of you are wrong about the food and beverage tax. I know my facts, and this is why I don't have a show anymore, because I know my facts. Did you show everybody the picture of me and McDermott?
When you watch
Schmooving
breakfast,
each other?
What?
Now, this is how an activist works, okay? And this is what you didn't understand when I was on the radio. You got to push real hard to get something, and I got a shot spotter right over the top of my street light. Now it's over. And now we're friends. He buys me breakfast. Next time I'll see him breakfast. But like he said, he worked for us. I did the same thing to Mayor Delo. I pushed hard. I got what I wanted. 9 more acres to Gibson Woods. Backed off. But see, that's how that operates. But as far as
hold on a second, Adrianna. I emailed you the picture.
No, we did show that one. Yeah.
All right, can you show it again? It's in your email. And I just got to stop for a second. Does your T-shirt say Pabst Blue Collar?
I'm a blue collar worker.
I want that T-shirt. It's kind of a semi tie-dye thing, and it says Pabst Blue Collar.
It's right there.
The arms are big.
There it is.
It says proud blue collar American.
Oh, proud. It doesn't say
with
Pabst.
the morning call hat. He's repping the station.
He is repping the station.
Well, I was on that in the morning we had to come on for Trucker Mike, but the shirt ain't small, the arms are big. Okay, now, Madlock is doing the right thing. And you said he's doing the right thing. It's a crisis. This being kicked off of Medicaid is a crisis, and he's doing the right thing, crying wolf. You see how big them arms are? Them are 16s, dude. You've seen the picture. Now, what happens here is, I got to hand it to, he almost got me believing it, my buddy steelworker Ron, is that you gotta make, this is a crisis, and don't let it go to waste. But if people really cared, and if Madlock really cared, he would see Earl Harris, and he would see Ronnie Randolph, and take Mervyn and go down to see Braun, and bump that up from $1,250 to $1,300 or $1,400, so you don't get bumped off of Medicaid. You see them forearms, Jed? You don't get them from going down to the YMCA. Now, the thing with Mad Mac with the sore throat, that's the next Mimi. Those Festival Lake tickets has their price, if you know what I mean. He was on every site begging for free tickets. The man has no pride. I mean, good God, just paid him $40. All
right, hey, listen, it's not $40. It was $100. It was 110, I think, to get those VIP tickets, right? Mm-hmm. And I felt bad. I realized I got home and I had 2 of them in my pocket still.
Was it worth the sore throat?
Hey, listen.
Was it worth the sore throat?
Hey, Festival of the Lakes, I want to say a lot. Hold on. You brought a lot up. Just stop for a second. First of all, can you show that picture I just sent you? I want to know if this is photoshopped or not. This is a picture of MX's biceps, and
Well
he's definitely a senior citizen, and he seems to tell us that he still has working 16-inch biceps. And who was I in here with that said they thought that was photoshopped? Oh, Brent Brazier thought that was photoshopped. Is that photoshopped or not?
It's not photoshopped. I swear to you, that's not photoshopped. That's right after weightlifting. Now,
hold on a second, Adrianna. Let's take a vote. Let's put the picture back up there.
And then for anybody that wants to see the picture, look at our YouTube Live and you'll be able to see it.
Yeah, it's brand new YouTube Live. There's like 3 people watching.
We're going to be saying that for like 6 months.
Here we go.
So hold on a second. Again. Look, if anybody looking at this, do you guys think that is photoshopped or that's a real arm? What do you think, Adrianna?
If it's photoshopped very well. The reason why I say it's not photoshopped is because you can see that there isn't any spaces where you can see like the Photoshop, like something is distorted, because how the mirror is and how the walls are, if something is distorted, you'll be able to clearly see it. And you don't really see anything distorted, so I say no.
I think it's 50-50.
You think it's 50-50?
50-50, because that's a pretty good... I mean, I was just at the Y with some of these, hammerheads just lifting weights and their big arms and stuff. None of them have an arm that well defined and that big. And this guy's old.
What time are you going to the YMCA? Everybody, they're lifting arms and now that they're just shredded.
I don't know.
You don't get them arms. You don't get them arms from working. You get them arms from climbing towers, NIPSCO towers at Inland Steel. They don't provide that down there at YMCA. You get them arms from being a Boilermaker or an iron worker. It's a big difference in riding a dirt bike like an animal.
Were you a Boilermaker?
I was a Boilermaker.
Well, then why don't you call the hall over there and ask them why they're not advertising on high school games?
Let me tell you this. You know why I got stuck in the tower gang?
Why?
They called it the suicide gang because I lipped off to the boss. His name was Lloyd, and he punished me for the next 22 years. But I thought it was great to be working way up in the air. And all the pigeons and that, I had a name for every one of them that landed on top of the iron up there.
You can't make up MX. You just can't make them up. Someone wrote a novel and they had a character named MX with 16-inch biceps, well into senior citizen land, and who had a wolf in his front yard, and who loves to climb towers, people would think you were making you up.
I'm a real life character, Jed. That's why our radio show went good until Mad Max sold me out for tickets.
All right, man, we got to go. I got some other stuff. Go. You got one more comment. Go.
Oh,
All right, here we go. Lighthouse Restaurant in Cedar Lake will be taken over by Crown Point restaurateur Chris Pappas in August. The current and future owners announced. For 2 decades, Lighthouse Restaurant has cultivated a reputation as a fine dining destination under the management of its late founder, Dean White, and since 2016 by Maryville-based hotel and hospitality company White Lodging. Now, Pappas has Meraki Hospitality Group said they'd been having casual conversations with the White family for several years leading up to the announcement, and it would be honoring White's vision for the Lakeshore restaurant when its stewardship begins on August 11th. Our goal is to honor the rich history and traditions of this beloved establishment while simultaneously enhancing the culinary experience and overall quality for guests. Adrianna, you ever eat at the Lighthouse Restaurant in Cedar Lake?
In Cedar Lake? No, I've not.
Someone in the Lighthouse Restaurant family needs to give a certificate for 2 so the co-host in the morning here can go eat there. I've been to weddings there. I've gone for dinner. It is truly a great experience, especially on the water, especially in the summer, even in the winter, to look out over Cedar Lake. You can't even believe that you are in the region. Congratulations to Chris Pappas. All right, let's move on. 219-845-1100. Hey, you're on the air.
Hey, what do you think about this Obama, Comey, Clapper, Brennan? getting referred to the Department of Justice. What do you think about this?
Hey, man, isn't that the spoils of being in power, to go after the people who were before you?
Well, I mean, he's not going after Joe Biden. He's going, this is old stuff here. And I mean, if these guys conspired this and put this up for impeachment, and how much tax dollars did we spend on this ordeal when that all went down? That went into this.
Former CIA Director John Brennan and former FBI Director James Comey are under criminal investigation for wrongdoing related to the Trump-Russia probe, including allegedly making false statements to Congress. CIA Director John Ratcliffe referred evidence to FBI Director Kash Patel for potential prosecution. Hey, man, when you're in charge, you can do whatever the hell you want.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying.
And you asked me what I think about that, is like, hey, listen, if you got a guy like Trump and Kash Patel in charge of that stuff, they can do anything. Nothing surprises me.
Yeah, well, if this all pans out to be true and that fraud was perpetrated onto the American people, I think there ought to be some justice, don't you?
Is there good evidence of it? Has it been adjudicated already?
I don't know, but I think we're going to find out maybe.
I mean,
that's the point.
I mean, to me, the point is, here's another shiny object to look at so that you don't think about the Epstein files. And you need plenty of other things to look at, because I think that Trump's in real trouble on these Epstein files. Something's in there that they don't want people to see. I just don't get it. Just show it to everybody. The guy's dead, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the guy's dead, you know. But no, if it does prove to be true, I mean, man, what else have we been fed?
I don't get that thinking that you're proposing right now. What are you trying to say? That there is we should already think that it's true and that it's really incredible and that these guys should be going to prison for the rest of their life?
No, I just said 2 minutes ago, if it comes to prove to be true.
Well, what does that mean?
Well, whatever they referred to the DOJ, if there's evidence that makes this true, I'm not saying it's true because I don't know. I'm saying if it is proven true, well, what a conspiracy put on the American people in our face. Man.
Okay, and then in the same breath, I go, hey, you know, what if it's true that there's some sort of cover-up to not show the Epstein files? Is that real?
Well, what if it is? I sure as hell don't know.
Exactly. Nobody knows. And so I think that all of the evidence in both cases should come out, and me saying that is exactly what you're supposed to say from the people that are putting out this information. You want to create a dialogue about something equally as treacherous, and then now you have deflected by creating, equal arguments. You've deflected questions about the Epstein case when 70% of America thinks that Trump's hiding something.
How did I deflect when I just said?
No, but I mean, I'm doing it. I'm saying I'm doing it. I've elevated the Comey-Brennan thing to equate it with the Epstein files, and that takes some of the attention away from what is going on. I mean, we're all being engineered here, man. Sorry.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we're just being manipulated, and I like being manipulated. It's like, cool. It gives me something to do, but I know it's happening. It's like when my wife is like maneuvering me, and next thing you know, we're sitting at the restaurant she wanted to go to, not the one I wanted to go to.
You realize that, right? As you look at the menu, you're like, hey, hold
this
on.
isn't where I wanted to go. How are we here? You know what I mean? And I'm like, I don't care. I'm with a pretty woman, and she's making me laugh. It doesn't really matter, but I'd really rather be at the dump down the street rather than spending $150 for dinner on a Tuesday night. But anyways, that's just me personally.
And hey, I got one more question to throw out there in case anybody knows, if they could call in. Does anybody know when the catastrophe on 65 in between 94 and 30 is going to be wrapped up there?
You know, if I remember correctly, they're going to pick that up in early November. I don't know if it'll be done.
November?
That's what if I remember correctly, I looked at a bunch of the projects early on, and it was like almost all of them were going till the end of summer.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? I mean, pretty much if you're going to put up all that, I mean, think about how long it would take just to pull all those concrete barriers out and all the warning lights of Indiana to pull all that stuff up. Once you set that up, man, you're going to be there a while. And I'll tell you what, doesn't it seem like every summer they work on the stretch between the Borman and 231? I mean, Route 2, every summer. Now,
over and over and over.
So where is it? One of the exits, I got caught the other day where you can't get on I-65 going north. Which one is that?
That was, you know what? I don't go that way. But the other last week, if you were going westbound on 94, you couldn't get onto southbound 65. So it did something different every day. Wanky.
How's that feel when you're driving somewhere? I'm going to a shoot today in Valparaiso, and I have 42 minutes. I got a 10 o'clock meeting, and then I got to be on the shoot by 11. So I figure I'll have 42 minutes to make it from Hammond to South Valpo. What do you think the chances of that are happening?
Nah, I don't think so, man. Nope. I don't care. Unless you take a small aircraft from Lansing Airport, maybe you'd have a chance. But
yeah, land at Valpo Airport and then take an Uber. Maybe I'll get there.
Yep.
All right, man. Thanks a lot. Talk to you. 219-845-1100. Pee-wee's Playhouse. May I help you?
Hey, good morning. First-time caller, Jake from Hammond. Grew up in Hessville, raised in Hessville, Hammond all my life. In Crown Point now. Bought a brand new place in 2016, townhome, right?
Why?
3-bedroom.
Why did you move out of Hammond?
Yeah, well, anyway, I did. I moved out of Hammond and lived in Crown Point. I retired in 2016, so I bought a place in Crown Point. I lived in Dyer 14 years first, got a divorce, and moved to Crown Point, the routine.
There's the reason.
Anyway.
There's the reason.
Yeah. Well, anyway, what I'm calling about is I'm disgusted with the NIPSCO rate hike. And the reason why I say this, you know what? I know what's going on. Everybody's got to know what's going on. First of all, they send their chromies out to Indianapolis to get the raise hike, in January. Let's go with the raise hike. What about all the developers that are forcing all these farmers? They're not forcing them, but they're pressuring them to sell their land and they're developing houses. The developers and the builders, all these subdivisions. Well, of course, NIPSCO's got to put in new substations because they can't power all that. Why don't they pay for it? They're the ones making millions of dollars. Why do they got to put the cost to us? Did you know that each a homeowner in Indiana has to pay a minimum of $24 a month now because of that, and it's going to go up higher? What about the retirees? What about people that's got steady income? That's a lot of bull. A lot of bull going on.
All right, so I'll be honest with you. I left that board. I was on that board for like 17 years at NIPSCO board, or I forget what it was called. And I'm done. I saw this rate increase, and I'm like, I can't accurately, independently comment on it and let people call in if I'm still going to the meetings and stuff. So I got off of it. And this was part of it. I'll be honest with you, because I think there's two things happening. First of all, I think the average customer is going to see about $23 of a rate increase, and I believe it's just on the electric side. It doesn't even affect the gas. That probably coming next. But the electric. So the average fixed income person's probably going to see close to $300 more to pay for NIPSCO. At the same time, NIPSCO is trying to bifurcate into two arms. One will be providing power to the data centers, basically, and then the other arm will, like it is, be providing power to everyone else, including maybe light industrial and so forth. So the question is, why are they doing this?
Well, and again, because Northwest Indiana is the hottest spot for people to build. And it ain't just Crown Point they're building, besides those roundabouts they put in and all these subdivisions between Crown Point and Winfield. It's Griffith. Wherever there's land, they'll put a house on it in 2 minutes, man. It's crazy, right? Because everybody from Illinois wants to come and duck the taxes and come to Indiana. And it's I get it. NIPSCO does have to, have capital development for restructure, but it just went way overboard. They're putting those towers in, and I've been watching them. Why are they putting those big towers in that they don't need to put in? I don't believe they do.
Well, I mean, honestly, that was one of the bones I had on the NIPSCO citizens something board or whatever it was, is that when they want to spend a bunch of money, right? How about refurbishing a lot of the stuff in the north part of Lake County that's really old, that has been there for sometimes 100 years, and when you go down and you put it into these new subdivisions or for some business, I mean, you're burying the cables, right? They don't have all the big poles around that often are unsightly. They're much more reliable. And you're spending all your money there in these new areas, and to some extent you kind of forget the older areas where the power goes out all the time. You know what I mean? And that was not a very popular message, and I'm like, I'm done, I'm out. And this rate increase shines the light not just on the fact that retirees are going to have to pay more fixed incomes. I don't know why they're trying to split the two companies for the data centers. It doesn't make any sense to me. If anybody wants to send me some confidential information on why this is happening, my guess, without any real information to go on, is will these data centers get preferable rates than grandma living down the street? And that's a good question.
Yeah, two things I got to say before I go here. Number one, I know for a fact there's a friend of mine who works for NIPSCO in the higher section. He's going to be a whistleblower soon, and because as soon as he starts whistleblowing, he's going to be out of a job. But he said NIPSCO is definitely ripping people off. Definitely, he's got proof.
All right, well, I don't have any proof of that. I'm just looking at the strategy, and I don't make any bones in that direction. I'm just saying, who is looking out mostly for the fixed income person that is living in the northern parts of the service territory.
Right.
And there's not a lot of people doing that. All right, man, thanks for a first-time call. That was a great one. Thank you. What did you say? I got to take a break?
Yes, you do have to take a break.
You know what it's like to sit here after all the things that I've done in my life and be told what to do by a 21-year-old person?
You were just saying on the air how you're like, yeah, being manipulated is fun and all that. I'm like, yeah, you're taking orders from a college student. We manipulated, kind of, not so much so, but the couch isn't there anymore. We got these nice blue chairs. We're making you act professional on the radio.
I feel like a marionette with like strings, and I'm just out here.
You're just here. It's okay.
I've just got one thing I can do, and that is talk when they let me. All right, be right back on the voice and face of the region.
You've been listening to JED's Journal podcast from the JED TV studios on the campus of Purdue Northwest in Hammond, Indiana. Thank you for listening.